This video continues my coverage of the update 28 Deadlock Protocol patch notes with the game changes, fixes, Railjack additions and fixes, the Kuva Bramma, Garuda and Nightwave changes, and more. Starting with the game's general changes. The Blazing Step ephemera has been removed from the Elite Sanctuary Onslaught rewards table and can now be purchased from the Arbitration store in the Relay for 30 Vitus Essence. The ephemera can also drop from the Railjack commanders as it has a 5% drop chance. Selling and dissolving ranked mods and scrapping ranked avionics now refunds 75% of the invested endo and credits, or in the case of Railjack parts, Dirac. The Earth to Mars junction now awards the Iron Phoenix stance, and the Earth to Venus junction now awards the Clashing Forest stance. DE have removed Copernicus from the mining nodes on the Orvalis and moved them to the Eximus enemies in the Lure tileset. And Pustrels have been removed from the mining nodes in the Plains of Eidolon, as they have been added to the Eximus enemies in the Infested Ship tileset. The rank up effect for Warframes, weapons, and companions has been given a new refresh, with the effect applying your chosen energy color. Shield gating has been disabled in the Dojo obstacle course when you hit intended instant fail traps. They have updated the following augment mods to replace the terminology of proc with status: Vexing Retaliation, Shocking Speed, Tidal Impunity, Neutron Star, Hallowed Eruption, and Piercing Roar. The Golden Hand promo code glyph design has changed to reduce matching iconography with real-life movements, and it now has the imagery of the Corpus Founder. For those wondering, the Razorback will have a remastered arena when it returns. Whether it's the Jackal's remastered area or a new area, we don't know. The hit effects on the Sonos Prime and Paris Prime have been reduced. The Opticore will now queue charging if you click and hold during its refire wait time. Some Fortuna hammering NPCs have been tweaked to be more in sync with each other. Corpus ship captura scenes, freight, and maintenance have been updated to the new remastered tileset under the names of Artillery Battery Scene and Corpus Depository Scene. The Nagan Tarka's firing animation has been polished and tweaked to reduce possible motion blur issues. The Fortress Container Codex entry now reads Polished, Storage, Crate, and Container. Glass texturing in the game has been polished to improve volumetrics, reflection simulation, and more. Reinforced glass has also been removed from the Corpus ship tileset. The elemental effects on Garuda's talons have been slightly reduced. The companion mower's parkour movements have been improved when attempting to follow or catch up with its owner. Arc gun animations have been updated, and DE has fixed an issue where players could slide around during the cooldown animation of the arc gun, and the Galaxian Vandal is now tradable. For the Kuva Bramma changes, the Kuva Bramma's ammo reserve has been lowered from 15 to 5, and it now gains fewer arrows from ammo pickups. It will produce 3 cluster bombs on impact, down from 7. The cluster projectile's radial attack size has been increased from 2.7 meters to 3.5, and the cluster projectile's fall-off has been reduced from 100% to 50%. The description of the weapon has also been updated. Garuda's talons have also seen changes. The damage has been increased from 180 to 248, their status chance has gone from 30 to 36, and the critical chance has been increased from 10% to 20%. For Railjack additions, changes, and fixes, a Join Any Crew option has been added to the game to search for open squads in active Railjack missions that you can join in a given Proxima region, and if there are no open squads, a pop-up will prompt you to try again or launch a new session from your Railjack. A Scrap Wreckage button has been added to the Railjack components and armament screen that removes the step of having to manually go into your inventory in order to view a complete list of wreckage to scrap when over the wreckage limit. And lastly, in regards to Railjack changes, fire hazards that spawn on the Railjack will now damage the ship and hull directly instead of getting split between the hull and shields. This means that even if you have full shields, you'll start taking damage directly to your Railjack if you leave a fire unattended. As for Railjack fixes, DE fixed a loss of functionality when performing a finisher while inside a cruise ship when it explodes. Fixes were made towards an inability to use the Arcwing slingshot if two client players spam the interaction at the same time during a Railjack mission. They fixed a case where the end of mission screen would pop in for a split second when transitioning from a Railjack mission to the dojo. They fixed being able to launch Railjack missions from an incomplete dry dock after host migrating from a mission joined as a client, with that fix also fixing an issue related to infinite loading tunnels when returning to the dojo after a host migration. They fixed wreckage capacity not immediately being updated until after exiting and then coming back after using Valence Fusion with wreckage as one of the components. They fixed Railjack armament stats not displaying properly when viewing the full Railjack stats, a loss of functionality when viewing the Nightwave screen when a squad member returns the Railjack to the dry dock. They fixed some Railjack points of interest having a delayed reaction to your presence, being placed next to a point of interest when skipping the cruise ship Arcwing exit cutscene, Railjack mesh collapsing when loading into the dry dock after the mission in the configure Railjack panel, and they fixed a crash when aborting a Railjack mission after another player had also aborted. For Nightwave changes and fixes. Upon falling or jumping off a platform in the weave, you'll now be teleported back to the main platform instead of failing the weave. The amount of Cephalon resonance to enter the weave has been reduced to 5 from 10. Your Cephalite resonance count as well as the amount required for the weave is now displayed upon hovering over the Glassmaker crime scene selector. They have slightly reduced the volume of Cephalite tears opening and closing. They fixed the Friendly Fire weekly Nightwave act only awarding 1,000 standing instead of 4,500. They fixed Cephalite enemies having blown out effects if killed with a Fullman, parts of the mod UI being cut in half if you loaded into a relay or town with a Nightwave screen open, and lastly they fixed the Elite Explorer Nightwave act not showing progress in the description. A new chat channel has been added to the game. The questions and answers chat can be found under the question mark and provides a place for new and old players to ask questions that they wish to find answers about for the game in the game. This will be enabled for new players upon starting the game, with region chat being disabled for new players, but the option to disable or enable it remains in the game's options. As for Kuva Lich Changes, DE fixed a case where a Kuva Lich could appear to change ownership or identity during a mission, possibly resulting in the Parazon check being incorrect and or counting towards a different player's history. They fixed Kuva Liches falling off the level during the Parazon check animation, causing them to sometimes die and break the final choice cinematic. A case where your Kuva Lich would not level up after failing a Parazon mod order. Fixes were made towards a case where a host migration during the Kuva Lich mission loading screen could result in no Kuva thralls spawning at all. They fixed the music cue that gets played when a Kuva Lich thrall spawns, only playing for the host, your gun auto-firing after the Kuva thrall Mercy if you initiated the Mercy while firing, and they also fixed a script error that could occur when a Kuva Lich went away. For optimizations, DE made some micro-optimizations to several UI panels. They optimized cruise ship explosions in Railjack missions as they were causing a noticeable impact on performance. It's made some micro-optimizations to runtime object creation, some systemic micro-optimizations to type serialization, and they optimized level loading slightly, as well as fixed Railjack spot loading the first time it's brought into view in the orbiter. For controller fixes, DE fixed an issue where resetting controller bindings to default would not remove bindings from buttons that didn't have a default action assigned to them. A controller issue where you could assign an Arcwing action to a button that has a non-Arcwing exclusive action already bound to it, resulting in both being bound to the same button simultaneously. They fixed an issue where if you rebound the ability menu under the General tab for controller bindings, it wouldn't update immediately under the Power menu tab to that key, which could result in creating conflicting bindings under the Power menu tab. They fixed controllers using a higher dead zone value than desired for non-look analog inputs. They now apply a 20% dead zone across the board instead of using platform-specific values, which were generally lower. They fixed an issue where resetting controller bindings would take effect immediately even if you chose not to save when it prompted you upon exiting, and DE fixed the action list in the customized controller screen not updating to show the current working bindings as you've updated them. Now as for the game's overall fixes, this is a long one, we've got 4 pages to go. ZE fixed a case where Corpus mobile defense objectives are invulnerable. Fixes were made towards defense missions breaking due to an inability to terminate enemies that have been changed to ally status. Clients not seeing the dynamic damage effects when the defense target's health gets lower in tiles where the target moves. An inability to gain energy from energy restores after using Valkyr's Hysteria. Deram Zahn's turrets never shutting off in the index. Performing a Iron Phoenix stance heavy attack while sliding, only triggering the normal sliding attack, which also consumed the combo count. Enemies and objects becoming stuck inside a catwalk in the Grineer Shipyard tile set, which could cause a progression stop. The shield gate mechanic being ignored by weapons that fire multiple projectiles at once for clients. Mutilus Osprey carriers ignoring Limbo's Cataclysm bubble. They fixed not receiving credits for completing the first 2 zones of Sanctuary Onslaught, the killing blow on X amount of sentience Riven challenge not counting for new sentient enemies aboard the Sentient Anomaly, the Arcwing Launcher segment blueprint requiring Mastery rank 5, Wukong's Celestial Twin suffering from very long cooldowns, Shield Lancers flailing wildly when affected by Titania's Lantern, Ashe's Shroud skin arm blades not animating during his Bladestorm ability. They fixed a chat-linked Riven that has over 256 rerolls being displayed as having 0 rolls. They fixed the Manticord not displaying notes correctly during Octavia's Anthem quest. A few cases where rescue targets could fall through elevators as they were moving. They fixed the Daiku not properly affecting the stat buff of the Mecha Overdrive and Hunter Synergy Kubrow mods, thus giving the player a much lower than expected status and critical chance link. The Arsenal UI showing double the damage for glaives, the ability to deploy your arc gun in weapon restricted mastery rank tests, Atlas and Zephyr not playing their full body animation when equipping an arc gun, an inability to trade Prisma Shade or the Prisma Burst Laser, a case where the chat window might not behave correctly if you had it bound to enter. They fixed loading into a blue void with a broken map and overly distorted effects on the operator during the Confront Umbra mission in the Sacrifice quest. They fixed the TennoCon 2020 Syndana clipping with Mirage and Ashe's Shroud skin lower body, numerous Kubrow armors clipping into large boned Kubrows, some more cases where the UI was reporting a different binding than what was actually bound in game, certain trams in the Grineer Asteroid tile set not positioning correctly for clients, some issues with kit guns having effect distortions and particles appearing square, Corinth Prime's custom reload animations not appearing correctly when equipped with skins, wonky Corinth reload animations after reloading and rolling at the same time, arm-mounted secondaries not playing custom idle animations. They fixed the Amalgam Argonac Metal Auger effect energy colors covering the entire enemy in a solid color. They fixed holstering two-handed weapons when attempting to reload and jump at the same time. Various audio and visual effects missing from the Javlok's throw attack explosions. Flickering effects in the Grineer Asteroid tile set when deferred rendering is enabled. They fixed the Arcwing blink effects not using the chosen energy's color. Resources sometimes falling into turret pits in the Grineer Asteroid Fortress tile set. They fixed the host being unable to enter the Fortuna elevator after picking up and dropping the data mass in the second stage of the Profit Taker heist. A small hitch with loading ability icons while previewing Warframes in the in-game market and through chat linking. Holding waypoint buttons while mounted on a K-drive not removing the live marker. Many cases of NPCs leaping abilities potentially causing them to land out of the tile set and getting stuck. They fixed cancelling a Bursa hack counting as a successful hack, holding G to remove waypoints not functioning while on a K-drive, several of Ticker's second-hand decorations appearing off-center from their dioramas, Hildren's Balefire deactivate animation superseding her Aegis Storm deactivate animation. A potential fix was made towards trade offers not updating locally on an offer's failure. They fixed the Arcwing quest objective waypoints in the void sometimes not pathing correctly. Square distortion that could happen when a Grineer deployed their inflatable cover. Landing craft air support sometimes spot loading for players who have a different landing craft equipped. Incorrect hit sound effects when using the Maruta Tonfa skin. An incorrect melee hand placement if the weapon has the Longsword Insidious skin equipped. Some prime weapon icons in your inventory displaying their vanilla variant instead of the respected prime. They fixed a hitch when the Tenora stops firing, which also fixed an unneeded spinning animation when equipping. They fixed all glaives becoming mini in size after initiating a dual-wield mode in the arsenal. They fixed the Boltor Bravura skin being broken when equipped on the Telos Boltor, the gun send not holstering properly in the arsenal, the Theazazi Syndana clipping into numerous warframes, They fixed the Kunshu Signdana clipping through Wisp's Delusion Skin Scarf, a rare case of Syndicate allies spawning on top of each other, Elite Shield Lancers not having its shield equipped in the Codex Diorama, the Tomb Protector Codex Diorama having its weapons placed in weird positions, a game hang and crash when selecting the corpus target in the codex, long clan names being partially hidden behind the menu options in the clan management screen. They fixed very long usernames not displaying properly in the revive screen, a script error in the Profit Taker Phase 1 mission if the player transferred to the operator at the fishing segment. A script error that could occur after a host migration while sealing a Thermia Fracture, when trying to apply a look or mod link on a weapon after you just sold the weapon you have equipped in that slot, a script error that could occur if you tried to log in while banned and click the help button, a script error when previewing Korra in the arsenal, and lastly, they fixed a script error when casting numerous Warframe abilities. That concludes my Update 28 Deadlock Protocol patch note video. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you guys in the next patch note videos that will come out later. Thanks for watching, see you guys next time, peace.